Hi, welcome to the Product Management Sprint update for sprint ending June 24, 2020. This was a great sprint where we launched 6 new capabilities, 3 enhancements, and 4 other fixes. Had 5 different client conversations, a lot of great learnings from those client conversations, an interesting conversation with the system admin, and learning that they actually have an API where they can start sharing the Enquashu's ERP data. So this is data on payments and existing clients, what plots they own directly with our system. Um, uh, 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 all of those conversations have been like super helpful. Continuing to support the CRF and timesheet processes, especially with the month end timesheet submission. And then kicking off a hiring process for a designer. And we have a great pipeline of candidates and looking forward to inviting them for a second round. Um, and lastly, launch new features on making content more engaging and informative, which is something we've continued to hear from our clients in our conversations. And we understand that would be a core capability of the product going forward. And then allowing our CSMs and our operations team to post and share content more easily. And then lastly, designing more of a welcome experience um, for our application, especially for people who are not logged into the application, and giving them abilities to sign up for tours or calls or even the application itself. So continuing to do that. Um, lastly, secondly, our highlights of the experience were really continuing to meet our weekly active user targets, and the lowlights was um, similar to last sprint, where what's the balance between time dedicated to product roadmap and stories versus product operations, and then the whole idea of running quick studies and experiments. Uh, so trying getting better at finding that balance. It will probably take another couple of sprints, but hoping that with GitLab with moving to GitLab, that would improve it significantly, especially with allowing us to design better epics. It's one of like the key things is right now it's hard for us to see overall epics in Asana, and hoping that the move to GitLab will um, help with that, and will help us share the product roadmap more widely, but also our epics internally. Um, so in the coming sprint, we're planning to launch features with allowing, we've heard this whole idea around informative and engaging content. So really giving more, expanding the features on allowing non-signed in users to see new posts, and then allowing anyone, especially clients, to engage with posts through comments and sharing, giving them more information about what's happening in Gwashi through a business directory. And then lastly, on the customer operations side, improving the messages and task management between the different operations staff. Because as we are starting to receive more messages, it's getting harder for the team to manage those messages and make sure that the messages are directed to the right people on the Gwashi staff who can answer those. Secondly, just moving into like more of a product roadmap and GitLab, and creating a product roadmap, which we already have, but moving it to GitLab, so that helps make sure that we are all aligned on where the product vision is going. And then I would really like to speak to 2 clients that we have seen log in previously, but have not seen them log in the last few months, and like understanding from them what capabilities we can provide to help them with their Enquashi experience. And um, considerations for the future sprint are really around that, where focusing on the problems and needs that we're hearing from clients and designing features for that, and then learning from that. So we've continued to hear that the clients want more informative content, especially on Enquashi's progress. So we considering improvements on um, automation, discussion boards, business directory, and allowing them to see what other people are thinking and saying about the progress, and learning from each other as a community. The second place is what learning has been around understanding of options available for construction. So um, a lot of like clients have told us that they would love to understand what their options are for construction, and when the construction can be started, how can the costs and the payments be arranged for it. And so there's a lot of information need around that, that would love to start building out in the next sprint. um, Lastly, more awareness. Like one of the things we've learned is that even though clients have been logging in to the application to see the information, and the quote that they use for that is that, oh, when I see this information and then see how much Inkwashi is progressing, it gives me the courage to keep paying. But at the same time, we haven't seen them engage with the application outside of just the news posts, and in all of the conversations when I ask them if they're using our application to um, make their payments, after seeing the content, they usually say that they either go to Inkwashi to make the payments itself, or they weren't even aware that there was a capability that existed within the application to make the payments. So really, it speaks to like how we train more, are the tutorials that we can do around what capabilities we are launching, especially since we're doing on a consistent basis. So really trying to stay in sync with the clients on what um, needs they have, and then how we are meeting them those needs on the application, and then communicating it to them once those features are launched, so that they understand how to use those. um, those were like the key insights, and excited to see what we do in the next sprint, and especially the following sprint, as we start to move um, more into the construction how to's, and understanding, maybe even getting the payments in the ERP data. So that's all from product. Look forward to talking to you again soon.